In Japan, France is called Fioransu, a phonetic copy of the English word, but in Turkey it's Fransa, in Greece it becomes Gallia, in Russia Francia, and in Mandarin Chinese it's Faguo, which literally means country of the far. Nobody agreed on this. Nobody decided it, it just happened, and France has no control over what it's called in the minds of nearly 8 billion people. This isn't a quirk, this is unsettling, because if a nation's identity is partly how the world refers to it, and the world can't agree on what to call it, then the question becomes, what is France really? Is it the place, the government, the cultural consensus? Or is it just a sound that different mouths learn to make at different times, and we're all pretending the name means something fixed? Let's start with scale. There are roughly 195 countries in the world. France exists on maps in all of them. But the word France, the actual sound, the characters, the meaning, that changes almost every single time you cross a border. Imagine a territory the size of Texas, roughly 573 square miles, sitting in Western Europe. That's France. Now imagine that same territory being called 196 different names depending on who's looking at it. Not 196 different asterisk descriptions asterisk of France. 196 different asterisk names asterisk, each rooted in completely separate linguistic histories, each carrying different meanings, each revealing something different about how that culture perceives the place. Most people think this is because of translation. It's not. Translation is deliberate. This is etymology, the ghost of history living inside words. The word France itself comes from the Franks, a Germanic tribe that invaded Western Europe around the 5th century. If you were standing in medieval Europe watching these warriors arrive, you'd call the land they conquered the land of the Franks. In Latin that became Francia, in Old French France, in English we kept it close, but other languages they diverged. In German, France is called Frankreich, literally realm of the Franks, same root, but it doesn't sound like France at all. It sounds like a completely different concept, and to a German speaker it asterisk is asterisk. The word carries a weight, the idea of an ancient kingdom of territorial conquest of the Franks as a defining force. In Italian, France becomes Francia, closer to the original Latin. But in Spanish it's Francia as well, yet the accent, the context, the way it's embedded in Spanish history makes it feel like a different thing entirely. Spain and France were neighbors, rivals, kingdoms locked in a dance for centuries. The Spanish word for France carries that history, but here's where it gets strange. In Portuguese, France is França. In Polish, Frankja. In Dutch, Frankrijk. In Swedish, Frankrijk. In Danish, Frankrig. In Norwegian, Frankrijk. In Finnish, Ranska, which doesn't even come from the Franks. It comes from an old word for Frankish people. The root is the same, but the path it took through history is so warped that the word looks completely unrelated. Now scale this up. There are approximately 7,000 languages spoken on Earth. Not all of them have written words for France. Some languages only have oral traditions, but among the languages with writing systems, with countries, with borders and governments, France is known by nearly as many names as there are languages. And the unsettling part, many countries do this too. You think Germany is called Germany everywhere. It's not. In French, it's Alemagny, which comes from the Alemanni tribe, not the Deutsch or Germanic peoples. It's like calling America the Comanche nation, technically related but a completely different narrative. China calls itself Zhongguo, the Middle Kingdom. That's literally what it means, middle and kingdom. But English speakers inherited the word China from Portuguese traders who got it from Persian, who got it from Sanskrit, who got it from an ancient tribal name that may have meant silk or crimson. Nobody's entirely sure anymore. China's own identity in its own language means something completely different than what the Western world inherited. Spain doesn't call itself Spain, it calls itself Hispania. The word Spain comes from the Roman name Hispania, but Spain's government, its people, its historical documents, they use a word that evolved from a Visigothic root, possibly meaning land of rabbits. The entire Western world refers to this country using a Roman colonizer's name, while the Spanish people use a word that might literally translate to rabbit country. Thailand changed its name from Siam in 1939, but many languages never updated. Thai, of course, is Prathit Thai, the land of the free, but in some older European languages it's still called Siam. Why? Because language is lazy. Words stick around long after the official name changes. A country can rebrand itself, but language doesn't listen to press releases. And then there's the really troubling part. Some countries don't have a stable name at all. The Democratic Republic of Congo and the Republic of Congo, they share part of a name because they share history, but different languages call them different things, and there's no universal agreement on which is which. It's like the world forgot that two places with almost the same name should probably be distinguished, but half the languages did anyway, and the other half is still confused. Here's the twist that makes this genuinely unsettling. A country's name in every language is a record of how that country was asterisk first discovered asterisk or asterisk first contacted asterisk by the people speaking that language. Not how it actually is, how it was asterisk encountered asterisk. France is called by different names because different cultures met it at different times, through different routes carrying different assumptions. Japanese traders met French culture relatively recently in the last 500 years, so they took the word France and phonetically adapted it. They weren't meeting the Franks. They were meeting France, the nation-state, the modern entity, so they just copied the sound. But Germanic peoples, they were meeting the Franks in real time as invaders and neighbors and rivals, so their languages embedded that history directly into the word. Frankreich isn't just a place, it's a asterisk narrative asterisk. It's the realm of those specific people. That's not translation. That's historiography encoded into grammar. Chinese speakers were meeting this place through Buddhist monks and silk traders, centuries before a unified entity called France even existed as a nation-state. So the word became something else entirely, a transliteration that meant something in Chinese, not a description of the place. And this matters right now because we're living in an era where borders are increasingly contested, where national identity is being redefined, where people are asking what even asterisk is asterisk a country, and the answer buried in linguistics is troubling. A country is partly a geographic fact, partly a political entity, and partly a word that different mouths learn to make at different times for different reasons. And those three things don't always agree. France could change its name tomorrow. The French government could declare we are now called something different, and it would change nothing about France. But it would take centuries for every language, every culture, every corner of the world to catch up. Some languages would never update. And in those places, France would still be called by the old word, carrying the old assumptions, telling the old stories about who France was when those languages first made contact with it. So what do you call France? The real answer might be whatever your history decided to call it. And that's something the world has never truly agreed on, and probably never will.